Laura.
And we are TwoPaperGirls.
This week we've got a really exciting video for you. We are working with Steve from TheLawnGnome, we'll leave his channel down below, for this month's 10 for 12. Basically a top 10 list for every month of the year, and this month's topic is the top 10 book to movie adaptations.
We're mainly booktubers, but we know that TheLawnGnome does quite a few of film and television, and we love your reviews. So this is a really interesting one because we get to talk about books and TV together.
And our number 10 is the How to Train Your Dragon film. This is more my choice rather than Amy's because I read the book, and this is at number 10 because normally a good book to movie adaptation is because it's really faithful to the book. Right, this one's very different from the book, but that's actually good because I personally didn't really like the book. I read it after seeing the film, but the film is amazing. Like the music in it and the design and everything. Like in the book, Toothless is a little tiny green dragon and he's not very cute. But obviously the movie has to come from the book, which is like the source material, so this is a really good adaptation.
Coming in at number 9 is Me, Ellen the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. We both read this book and we went to see the film together. And the book was really, really good. We enjoyed it when we read it. But when we went to see this film, we were pretty blown away by the emotions in it. And just they changed a few things, like with Rachel and how she goes through the process. Because Rachel has cancer and it's all about Greg, the main character, and how he deals with it. And it's just really emotional. The film got to me more than the book, even though the book is hilarious. They toned Earl down in the film quite a bit because he's quite vulgar and he swears a lot in the book, but they still did it really well in the film. And it was just such a really nice watch.
Yeah. Our number 8 is the Great Gatsby, the more modern adaptation with Leonardo DiCaprio. We both really like this film and we love this book. It's one of our favourite classics. If you haven't read it, you should definitely check it out, especially if you like the film. But they got everything right, really. They had all the right metaphors in it of Dr. Jekyllbug's eyes and the colour green and gold, and the acting was really, really good, obviously, because it had an amazing cast. But it was a bit weird how it modernised things, which is why it's at number 8, because like the use of music and stuff kind of didn't feel right for the 20s time setting. Like it was cool, but it didn't feel as good as the book, I think, if that makes sense.
Number 7 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is such a good film, obviously. It was the last one, the hype of this film.
Yeah.
And obviously the book hype too was just through the roof. But I know people have some problems with the second part of this film. Like the first part I really enjoyed, but I personally prefer the second part. But I know some people that prefer it the other way around. I really think that the way they did it at the end was just so emotional. I know like some people have a real problem with how Voldemort died because he just disintegrated like a magical creature instead of dying like a human. But apart from that, like they did it pretty well.
Yeah, seeing Hogwarts destroyed and stuff was heartbreaking, but also it was just done really well. It, like you say, it had all the right emotion towards it. I think the book has more emotion and they could have done things slightly better, but I do think this is definitely like the highlight of the Harry Potter film series. Our number 6 is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This is quite a recent book to movie adaptation, and we were between this and Paper Towns, but we've seen Tiffy-O's more. We've only seen the Paper Towns once in the cinema, but that was still really good. But Tiffy-O's was really good. We put it in number 6 though because it does have a lot of the cliche things that are in the book, but when you see it on screen it was kind of a bit too cheesy at times. Like the love story was a bit like, oh, it just doesn't look as good when you see someone say it rather than reading it. But it had all the emotion perfectly. The acting was so good, like it broke my heart completely, and I like that they actually filmed in Amsterdam and it had like all the right feeling as the book. And I think a lot of people saw this film who hadn't read the book and it introduced them to John Green, so that's always a good thing.
Number 5 is Mockingjay Part 2. Again, we like the conclusions of the series.
Yeah.
Mockingjay Part 1 for me, I absolutely hated. I was like, this is the most boring watch I've ever seen. But Part 2, everything just kicked off. People were dying left, right and centre. Katniss got all the emotion right. I loved Peter, how he wasn't in it as much because obviously it was what was going on with him. But I just loved how everything just come together at the end. I loved the build up. The tension was amazing and it looked visually so good.
Yeah, I thought the pacing was right the whole way through because the book's quite slow. Like part 1, the first bit's very slow and then the second bit in the book feels quite rushed, and I think I actually prefer the film because the pacing felt a lot better and it was a lot more emotional, and a lot of people don't like the cheesy epilogue of the Mockingjay book, but in the film I thought it was a really nice end to the film after all the madness, and it just was so good. I was so impressed.
Minute number 4 is one of my favourite books, Life of Pi. When it got turned into a movie, I was really excited. And visually, this film is one of the best things ever. Like at night when he's on the thing and the well and the lights and the colours and the meerkats and the island. It's so good. I get really excited about this film, and I don't really know any of the actors from it.
No.
Oh no, the main guy, he looks like M. Night Shyamalan. But anyway, it's really, really good. I like the way that they do it with the looking back and he's going to see the writer at the start and it's all meta. And I just love the way that his story is told, and like you've got his little diary and then the narration's so good. It's just such a brilliant film, and it's such a brilliant book as well. I just think the way they changed it from book to film was just really, really smart.
Our number 3 is the 2003 Peter Pan. This is the one, not the cartoon, the one with the real people, but not the recent one called Pan, because that's a disaster.
Jeremy Sumpter.
Jeremy Sumpter being, when he was so cute and little, he was like my biggest crush when I was younger. But this film is the reason that I read the book, and it's such a good adaptation because it has all the darkness of the book that like something like Disney ignores, but then it's also so magical. Like the soundtrack to this is amazing. Listen to James Newton Howard's like flying and fairy dance because they're so good. And the acting was amazing considering they're such little kids, and it just makes it feel all magical, and I love it so much. It's such a good film. My favourite Disney film to exist ever.
Number 2 is The Fellowship of the Ring from the Lord of the Rings series by J.R.R. Tolkien. This film is just so good. Like the way that they just take the book from fantasy, like high fantasy craziness that everyone wants to read and everyone kind of lies about saying they have. And I have read it, but I think the film is better just because the characters are just, they feel very distant in the book. They're very standoffish, but in the film, the way they've adapted that and the relationships between them, like Sam and Frodo in the book is just like my gardener, but in the film they're like my brother and my best friend, and I just love that emotion. And obviously like the soundtrack and just the whole visual of it, of the Shire. I really want to go to New Zealand. It'd just be tears everywhere.
Yeah, we chose The Fellowship of the Ring as well because it really sets it up, and I think it's a big risk like to put so much money and time into a high fantasy series that, like you say, is quite like difficult for people to get into. But the first film just like, you fall in love with the world and all the characters are instantly just like perfect, and it was so well done. And yeah, the magic of the Shire in the first one I think is like, and that final scene, again, look up Lord of the Rings, The Breaking of the Fellowship. The music and the acting is incredible, and I can see why like this film series won so many Oscars and stuff because it's amazing.
And coming at number 1, our favourite book to movie adaptation is Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. There's nothing wrong with this book or this film, they're both amazing. The book is amazing, the film is amazing, they complement each other so well. We could go into this, we could talk about this for hours, like every single aspect of the film, like the pacing, the characters, the plot, it's just all there.
Everything about this book to movie adaptation is perfect. I think we cried as much as we did at the book. Like the whole final hour of this film, we were just sobbing in the cinema, people looking at us like, what's going on? But like you say, just everything about it was perfect. It was such a good cast and everyone got the characters so right. And it is a book where not really much happens, but it holds your attention. And I think we also watched it and read it at like the perfect time in our lives when we're like 16 going on 17, and like what Charlie says, and it was just amazing. Like my only problem with this film is they miss out Charlie's letter, the poem, but that would have been too sad to put in the film. It's so sad, that bit of the book. But yeah, it's definitely such a good film. Definitely recommend it, and the book.
So that was our 10 for 12 top book to movie adaptations. Thank you so much to TheLawnGnome for letting us do this. It's been a really good one and we're really excited to see your video.
Definitely go and check out his channel. He uploads all the time and they're just really, really fun videos. He has so many little series going on in his channel, so check him out and let us know down below your favourite book to movie adaptations, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye!